Good morning. This is XPulse AI Morning Mix. Today is Monday, May 4th, 2026. We're leading with the Pentagon picking 8 AI vendors for classified networks. Then OpenAI's Microsoft deal goes multi-cloud, plus big moves from Anthropic, Cerebras, and a striking Harvard medical study. Orion's here. Ready?
Ready, let's move.
The biggest story, the U.S. Defense Department and AI access on classified networks. What happened?
TechSpot reported on May 2nd, the Pentagon approved 8 vendors for use on classified and top-secret networks. OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, NVIDIA, SpaceX, Oracle, Amazon Web Services, and Reflection. The key condition, the firms agreed their tools can be used for any purpose the military deems lawful.
What changes practically for procurement and security teams?
It accelerates buying. Once vendors are pre-approved for classified environments, pilots can become programs fast, especially for intel analysis, logistics, and cyber. It also signals the Pentagon is prioritizing operational flexibility over narrower use policy constraints. Nothing says urgency like approving 8 at once.
And Anthropic is explicitly out. Why?
The Pentagon labeled Anthropic a supply chain risk and barred it from the program. Anthropic is contesting that in court. Even if Anthropic wins later, near-term deal flow shifts to the approved list, and it nudges enterprises to ask, if it's good enough for classified, is it also the default for our regulated workloads?
Now to OpenAI and Microsoft. What changed in their partnership?
Tech Edition reported on May 4th that OpenAI revised terms with Microsoft to loosen exclusivity, allowing OpenAI models to run across multiple cloud platforms, while the companies remain closely partnered. In plain English, customers may have more choice in where OpenAI workloads live.
So who benefits, buyers or the clouds?
Both. Buyers get leverage. Multi-cloud is negotiating power and resiliency. Cloud providers get a shot at premium demand that was effectively gated. And it's a subtle shift in the market. Model access becomes less about one cloud's walled garden, more about deployment options. Cloud exclusivity is so last season.
Anthropic is also in the headlines, this time with Wall Street. What's the deal?
Reuters reported on May 4th that Anthropic is finalizing a roughly $1.5 billion joint venture with Blackstone, Goldman Sachs, and other firms to sell Anthropic's AI tools into private equity-backed companies. It's a distribution play. Bundle AI adoption into portfolio operations at scale.
Is this about money or about reach?
Mostly reach. Private equity can push standard platforms across dozens or hundreds of companies quickly. The interesting tension is timing. Anthropic is fighting the Pentagon designation in court, but it's simultaneously deepening commercial channels. Different buyers, different risk lenses, same underlying question. Can we deploy reliably and govern it?
Let's talk AI hardware money. Cerebras is eyeing a major public move. What's reported?
ET Enterprise A from the Economic Times reported on May 3rd that Cerebras Systems is planning an initial public offering to raise up to $4 billion, targeting about a $40 billion valuation as AI chip demand surges. It's another signal that infrastructure investors think the build-out is still early.
For anyone new, what does Cerebras actually sell?
Cerebras builds very large AI accelerators and systems, positioned as an alternative path to training and inference versus standard data center GPU stacks. They've marketed the big chip approach for high-throughput model workloads. If they successfully price that IPO narrative, it pressures the market to value non-NVIDIA hardware as more than a niche bet.
A medical result that turns heads, OpenAI's O1 model versus doctors. What did the study find?
LiveMint reported on May 4th on a Harvard study comparing OpenAI's O1 reasoning model against hundreds of physicians on emergency room diagnostic tasks. The model consistently outperformed doctors on both diagnosis and clinical management planning, according to the researchers, while stressing the likely future is collaboration, not replacement.
What's the responsible way to interpret that?
It's performance in defined tasks, not a license to autopilot care. The real impact is decision support, catching edge cases, reducing delays, and standardizing best practices if the workflow, audit trails, and liability are designed well. The hard part isn't can it answer, it's can we trust, monitor, and integrate it safely.
Before we wrap, a few rapid updates. Start with big tech earnings and markets.
Bloomberg reported on May 3rd that big tech earnings are splitting AI trade winners and losers, with Alphabet standing out. Google Cloud strength, and AI product revenue helped push shares up about 10%. And CNBC on May 3rd, Morgan Stanley raised targets on Chinese AI names, arguing AI could reshape Hong Kong and China equity flows.
On policy and government adoption, what should we know?
The Sum and Substance in Colorado reported on May 2nd that Senate Majority Leader Robert Rodriguez introduced Senate Bill 189, requiring disclosures when AI is used in consequential decisions and giving the Attorney General authority in algorithmic discrimination cases. Times of India on May 2nd. Delhi's government is seeking vendors to pilot proven AI tools across services like health, education, transport, and air quality.
Okay, enterprise tools and security deals?
Crypto Integrated, citing a Microsoft security blog post on May 2nd, says Agent365 is now generally available, expanding assistant integrations across Microsoft services. And Inc42 Media on May 2nd reported Palo Alto Networks is set to acquire AI startup Portkey. Another sign security platforms want autonomous AI features inside the suite.
And finally, robots and the plumbing behind all this compute.
Crypto Integrated reported on May 2nd that Meta acquired Assured Robot Intelligence to boost its humanoid robot efforts, more embodied AI spending. ICO Optics on May 3rd, Navitas unveiled an NVIDIA-focused 800-volt to 6-volt DC-to-DC power board for data center power delivery, plus a senior hire. Prism News on May 3rd, Goldman Sachs says AI adoption is already changing workflows across healthcare, retail, and manufacturing.
That's XPulse AI Morning Mix from XPulse for Monday, May 4th, 2026. If this helped you stay sharp, share it with a colleague, and we'll be back next time.